The following content is sponsored and does not necessarily reflect the views of WATD Radio. Now, Paul Ponders on 95.9 WATD. Be a part of the show. Call or text 781-837-4900. Now, here's your host, Paul Solano.
Welcome and thanks for listening to Paul Ponders on WATD, presented by Northeastern Fence and Supply Corporation of Saugus, where they have fences for your kids, dogs, and ugly neighbors. My name is Paul Solano of the PS&L Marketing Group, and as you probably already know, I also wear another hat as General Manager of Pearl Street Station Restaurant in Malden. And a huge shout out to Chef Felipe Fitzpatrick and his culinary team. Chef Felipe is a loyal listener through the Odyssey app. So hello to Chef Felipe. And as always, we have lots of activity going on at Pearl Street Station Restaurant this weekend. You, Chef Joaquin, and Pizziola Mohammed are holding down the fort with my great 1215 staff of John, Jen, Nicole, and Dennis. And Chef Felipe, I have to say that those sweet and spicy raviolis that you made last night were absolutely stupendous. What a tremendous blend of various spices in your homemade marinade, and looking forward to those same sweet and spicy raviolis maybe on tonight's menu, but also tomorrow when we have the NFL action with the 75-cent wings. Truly tremendous. So great job there. And a shout out to Dino's Pasta in Somerville. They provide us with just an absolutely delicious ravioli. So if you have a chance, check it out at Pearl Street Station Restaurant. Now, this is show number 44. Hank Aaron, number 44. Danny Ainge, number 44. And it's an absolute honor and pleasure to be on WATD in the slot of the Boiling Point with Arthur Boyle. Shout out to Arthur. Hope he's doing well. And Arthur is out there plugging away with advertisers. And I just want to thank the advertisers who are part of this program. And I stopped off at Brian Phil Pizza Kitchen last week on the way back to the Malden Medford area. And shout out to Kenny over there, and that Italian steak and cheese calzone is absolutely tremendous, and within my calorie count, believe it or not, if I don't have too much of the bread. But anyways, it was very good. So shout out to my advertisers, and also as we're coming up on a year in December 7th, we're looking at picking up some more advertisers and maybe offering some specials to advertise. So please check the PS&L Marketing Group website on that, Paul Ponders. So we'll have that. But with us behind the glass is Tim. Tim, how are you?
I'm good. I'm looking forward to 49 minutes from now. I'm done with this morning. It's been a morning.
It's been a long day, hasn't it?
Yeah,
huh?
I keep saying we're going to check traffic after we did that, and yeah.
Well, I want to thank you for those traffic reports on
the
way down from Medford. You really do a great job, and really very accurate. You picked up that backup over at the Split very nicely. Well done. So
yeah. Well, when you have the information at your fingertips, it's a beautiful thing. You don't have to scroll the Google Maps or whatever and say, oh, looks like we have something here down to this area, and yeah. So, and thanks to Rob Hackler for setting all that up, because he is Mr. Traffic. You hear him on the South Shores Morning News here every day, but then on the weekends he does it for another well-known news station in the Boston area.
And I have heard those reports, and spot on, accurate. And to me, it's just absolutely incredible how you have all these cameras and you have all these reports coming in, and it's absolutely fascinating to me.
Yeah, it's quite an operation. Years ago, when I first started here, before I was working Saturday mornings, Rob invited me up to the Smart Traveler Center before it became what it is now, and I got to see where Cindy Campbell did her traffic reports for the Eye Opener on Channel 5.
Wow!
Yeah, I saw her set up and everything, and it was a pretty cool operation center up there at Smart Traveler.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I will say, and I mentioned this last week, and maybe it was 2 weeks ago or so, when I saw those people, those kids on the motorbikes out on the expressway riding through the tunnel, and it was just crazy, unbelievable.
Yeah.
What are they doing out there?
Risking their lives.
Absolutely, without a doubt. Yeah. Well, hopefully we don't have any drag racing, and we don't have any candidates for Loudon
No.
on the road.
Well, that's not where to try and qualify. You go to a track. Route 24 and name the road is not a racetrack.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Exactly.
Well, Tim, I'm going to let you get back to what you're doing as the countdown goes on for how much time. So what's happening after 1 o'clock?
After 1 o'clock, I'm making my way over to have my vehicle serviced.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very good. Well, I hope you don't have any issues with the car.
No. This is just an oil change. That's it.
All righty.
Yeah.
Well, go get them.
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome. Well, I think we'll we'll open up the segment to the Pod Pro Entertainment Techie Toolbox segment with Techie Talonzo Amos and typically Shelley Wolf, global media firm owner of Toolbox Entertainment and Vice President of Technology Literacy for Pod Pro Entertainment and a past Paul Ponders guest, episode number 35. Well, Shelley had a yen to go to Japan and Hong Kong for a month, so we have a returning guest to Paul Ponders, Miss Sharon Filio. Sharon, I guess you're on the line.
Yes, I am. How are you?
I am doing well, thanks. How are you today?
Good. I'm doing well. A little busy, but very happy to talk to you and your listeners. So this is great.
That's awesome. Well, I thank you for taking the time to do that. And you were on Paul Ponders maybe about a month or so ago, and
Yes.
if you just want to refresh our before we go into the topic of discussion, but just refresh our listeners on your wonderful fall prevention method.
Yes. So my specialty is to help seniors, not high school seniors, but adult seniors over the age of 65 and all the way past 100, help them not to fall and give them exercise strategies to help affect the muscles required for balance. And like everything in the body is sort of connected. So let's say you have a knee injury or a knee, like say muscle tightness in your leg. That could be coming from your neck. Everything is connected. And not only do I teach exercise, I also like to give the educational component as well, so that people can alter their lifestyles to give them a better quality and joy of living.
That's interesting. And you, just to, again, refresh the memories of our listeners, you go out to senior centers and you also...
senior centers, independent living facilities, assisted living facilities. I also lecture. I've been a guest speaker quite a few times, lecturing on the importance of fall prevention and what it takes for that. The current therapies are not particularly effective, especially balancing on one foot. These things don't really help with balance because you're loading the joint standing in one place. So when you watch, say, a wide receiver practice in the field catching balls, right? That is more of a study in dynamic balance. The ability to self-correct your position while you are in motion. That is what balance is, not just standing in one place. That's not balance. That makes any sense.
It does. It really does. Mm-hmm. And if we look at balancing the topic of discussion and what's really necessary, let's go into the topic of the importance of proper hydration for blood pressure to avoid stroke, heart disease, etc.
Yes. So one of the first things a student learns in medical school is there's a very complex negative feedback system in the body that is tied to serous sodium or the sodium levels in your blood, and also the amount of fluid, right? Mm-hmm. So when a person becomes dehydrated, this can cause a drop in blood pressure, right? Which can cause dizziness, lightheadedness, and then the body has to compensate and increase blood pressure. This is why if you're out walking for long periods of time in a store at Disney World, something like that, you may tend to get a little lightheaded and not know why. This is because when you're walking, a little bit more blood is shunted to your lower extremities, and it takes away from the blood that's going to your brain. That's why if you've been walking for a while and you're not drinking, you'll need to sit down. You'll have this need to sit down and rest for a moment before you continue on. This is all linked to hydration. Now, if someone also has a pre-existing heart condition, like, say, an arrhythmia, AFib, anything like that, dehydration can exacerbate that. So it's important for people of any age to stay properly hydrated. One of the ways that you can sort of eyeball it is to look at your void, or what's called your urine, or what's called your void. If it's dark yellow, don't fret. Just drink a nice big cup of water. The urine should run light yellow, not clear, but light yellow. This lets you know that the kidneys are working. There's not too much solute in the urine, which can lead to things like kidney stones, gallstones, all these other things.
Interesting. Now, when we look at the sodium levels and all, I'm forever looking at boxes, at the wrappers and all. And I used to eat a lot of cereal, and then I realized how much sodium there is in cereal. And
yeah.
Is that common across the whole industry?
Right. So what happens when you eat foods that are high in sodium? Where sodium goes, water follows. So when you eat high sodium foods, it tends to attract water, which is where you have bloat. So if you've ever gone and had a really good high sodium dinner at a restaurant, right? Mm-hmm. And the next day, your mouth is kind of dry, your joints hurt a little bit, your pants are a little tighter, right? This is because your body is holding a little bit of fluid. It takes about 2 days, as long as you don't eat high sodium foods, for the fluid to kick out. So ostensibly, a person can hold about 5 pounds of water after a high sodium meal. So it's important. Sodium is important, not high levels. Generally speaking, 1,500 milligrams to 2,000 is what's recommended for your daily intake of sodium because you do need sodium.
Mm-hmm.
But anything like say 5,000, 10,000 milligrams of sodium really isn't so good for your heart and for blood pressure.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I tend to use the sea salt.
Okay, so sea salt is still sodium chloride. So there have been studies for what's called the sodium substitute, potassium chloride.
Mm-hmm.
Potassium chloride has been shown not to affect that kind of sodium issue in the body. Sodium chloride is a salt. Potassium chloride is also a salt, the salt substitute. That is better to use. You can find that in a supermarket. It's KCl is a molecular kind of name for it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Structure. Sodium chloride, which is your regular salt, that's the one that you have to wash. And it doesn't matter if it's Himalayan salt, sea salt, it's the potassium chloride that gets you. The sodium chloride that actually gets you. And so, again, you want to stay below 2,000 milligrams a day. 1,500 is even better.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. See what you learn here?
I am. This is a great Paul Ponders moment here. I love this. This is great. Now, as far as dehydrating and all, we know all those products that are out there with electrolytes and all. So if you want to touch upon that.
Yeah. So if you've been sweating a lot, so let's say you've been walking a lot or you've been playing football, basketball, in cases like that, you want to have a little bit of an electrolyte push. Something like Gatorade is wonderful. People who do a lot of hiking sometimes will take sodium pills. In this case, where there's been a lot of sweating, a little bit of a sodium push can be indicated. For something like that, you want to speak to your doctor, particularly if you suffer from diabetes or high blood pressure. Sometimes, like I said, like sodium pills can be okay, but again, it's not a blanket thing. You want to talk to your doctor. Something like Gatorade is probably a better bet.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Now, of course, all these avoiding stroke and heart disease.
Yes.
That is
Yes.
really, really key.
Yes. And so chronic dehydration is a big factor in that. So again, when someone is chronically dehydrated, okay, your brain can reset your normal blood pressure higher, a higher systolic. The systolic number in blood pressure is the top number, like when someone takes your blood pressure, if it's 120 over, I don't know, like 65, that top number is the most important number. That is the amount of pressure that is exerted on your blood vessels as it's contracting. When someone is chronically dehydrated, that number is going to go a little bit higher. And high blood pressure used to be called the silent killer because a lot of times you don't feel the high blood pressure until they, take your pressure in the doctor's office, right?
Yes.
So let's say you have a chronically high blood pressure at 180 to 200 systolic. Well, it's just a matter of time, right? And then that person can have a stroke or a cardiac event. And that's when they find out, oh, I need to change my lifestyle a little bit and stay more hydrated. Now, hydration is nothing that has sugar in it. Soda, fruit juice does not hydrate. You need spring water. Spring water is the best hydration vehicle.
Interesting. Now, when you were last on Paul Ponders about a month or so ago, you had alluded to your past career in competition in bodybuilding.
Yeah.
So how does all this factor into your regimen when you were, in fact, in competitive bodybuilding?
Right. So generally when you work out, you're constantly hydrating. When you're gearing up for a show or a competition, it's not the best thing to do, but what happens is the week leading up, so say you have a Saturday competition, you overhydrate the first few days and then you pull water the last two. Is this a good thing for your kidneys? No. So what happens is it causes this kind of differential shift across the cellular membrane. So when you overhydrate and then you pull water, your body just keeps shedding water. So when you see movie stars and they're shredded, they have a six-pack, right? They are in a state of dehydration for that particular scene.
Wow.
So when you drink water, you kind of fluff back up, so to speak. So when you see someone and their abs are showing, they are actually in a very, very weakened state.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And, right. And it only lasts a few hours or until you take or until you drink a glass of water. So having a six-pack all the time is not healthy. Or at least one that you can see is not healthy.
Right. Exactly.
Right.
Well, this has been a very educational and informative episode, and I know there's much more.
This is great.
Absolutely, yeah. and there's so much more to talk about. So maybe if your schedule permits, maybe in 2 weeks, maybe we'll have you back on. We'll have to talk about that
Of course.
offline.
I would love to.
That would be great. This is the Pod Pro entertainment segment, and we both have a mutual friend in Techie Chalonzo Amos, and he's really a wonderkind.
He's the best.
He really is. He really, really is. And also, Sharon, how do our listeners in Paul Ponders Land reach out to you and contact you?
Oh, well, you can reach me. I have a YouTube channel, Sharon Senior Workout. You look for the kind of avatar of my face. It's a pretty brown girl with big eyes and long hair. It's a cartoon, and you can contact me on YouTube, and that's where I am.
And what is that YouTube address again? What is it?
Sharon Senior Fitness Workout.
Absolutely. I think that Tim had picked that up last time, and it shows right up. It's at the top. So, Sharon, I want to thank you again for being on and taking the time on this very educational performance. And we'll catch up with you real soon. I want to wish you a great rest of the weekend.
Same to you. Thank you so much. It was so great speaking to you today.
Absolutely, Sharon. Thank you and be well.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
That's Sharon Filio. Bye now. Well, as Arthur Boyle says, it's not time to make the donuts, it's time to pay some bills. So let's hear from our sponsors.
Have you heard about Pembroke Collision? Price and quality don't often collide under the same roof. Not so at Pembroke Collision at 192 Manakesett Street in Pembroke. Pembroke Collision will work with you and your insurance company to get you back on the road in a safe and satisfactory vehicle. Put your trust in Ben Bastianelli and his crew at Pembroke Collision. Just call 781-293-4040 or find them on Facebook. Pembroke Collision, happy to work for you. Have you tried Bryantville Pizza Kitchen? From antipasto to baked ziti, specialty gourmet burgers, over 30 different kinds of pizza, and that's steak and cheese. Come on in and they'll show you why they made a reputation as being the best steak and cheese sub in the area. There's nobody that puts it together like your friends at the Bryantville Pizza Kitchen. Chicken wings and fingers and the famous flavors complement their stir-fry dinners. If subs and wraps aren't enough for your table tonight, expand into Greek and Caesar salads, maybe even a calzone. Anyway, it's all good at the Bryantville Pizza Kitchen. And don't forget, invite them to your next catered event. They'll bring the food. Bryantville Pizza Kitchen. Call them at 781-293-9857.
Five-time Hall of Fame inductee President Dave Caiazzo from the National Italian American Sports Hall of Fame Massachusetts chapter invites you to its Hall of Fame induction ceremony at 1 p.m. on Sunday, October 5th at Anthony's of Malden. Congrats to Zavarian Brothers High School head football coach Al Finaro, past San Diego Padres farmhand Joe DiSarcina, and special Tony the Champ DeMarco Spirit Award recipient Catholic Memorial AD football coach John DiBiazzo. Please contact Paul at paulponders.com or President Dave Caiazzo at davekaipitching@gmail.com for more ticket information. Are you looking for fencing and outdoor products? Look no further than Northeastern Fence and Supply Corporation of Saugus. When owner Mike Payne's customers have been asked why they chose Northeastern Fence, many said that there were three deciding factors: customer respect, excellent customer service, and quality products. I say that you need to add in 70-plus years of a family-run business with truly experienced sales and installation teams. So if you are in the market for fences for your kids, dogs, and ugly neighbors, please call Mike Payne and his crew at 781-233-3324 or email Mike at northeasternfence.com.
Paul Ponders continues on 95.9 WATD. Once again, Paul Solano.
We are back, and thanks for listening to Paul Ponders on WATD, presented by Northeastern Fence and Supply Corporation of Saugus, where they have fences for your kids, dogs, and ugly neighbors. And the call-in number here at ATD is 781-837-4900. And you could also find us in the Odyssey app, just like Chef Felipe. That's AUDACY. And just like my daughter Ann, who is actually coming in from California on Tuesday. So it'll be great to see the cherub, but she is listening today. So Ann, safe travels, and we'll see you on Tuesday evening. It's going to be a great visit you'll be having with Sarah. And a shout out to all those nonprofits out there. You could reach me at paul@paulponders.com. And great shout out to the food pantry coming up, Greg Brasso and the Veterans Voice. The food pantry second Thursday of the month coming up right here on Enterprise Drive. So,
Veterans Voice Food Drive.
Oh, thank you, Tim.
You're welcome.
Thank you for correcting me.
Second Thursday of every month.
Absolutely. And what time? What are the hours?
I think you start one lineup around 10:30 or so, and it goes until noontime or whenever the food and stuff disappears.
Absolutely. Indeed. It's a great thing that Greg and his crew do. So many volunteers come down for that. It's really super. And listeners can go to paulponders.com to find subscription links to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube, as well as finding past Paul Ponders and WATD shows. My next Paul Ponders podcast is dropping tomorrow night at midnight, and it will feature Joe DiSarcina. He's one of the honorees, as you've been hearing on the commercials for the National Italian American Sports Hall of Fame. Joe was a San Diego Padre minor league infielder, but also player-manager of the Augustine A's in the Malden area, the Inner City League, the prestigious Inner City League, and he led with our president Dave Caiazzo and the rest of the great players over there. great semi-professional teams, 7 championship titles in 10 years, and that was in the late 70s into the 80s, and he's really deserving of the accolades from the National Italian American Sports Hall of Fame. Few tickets remain for tomorrow at Anthony's at 1 o'clock. But you really do want to listen to this podcast because besides being involved with sports, Joe is also, this will be his 5th Hall of Fame. Joe DiSarcina was a great educator and administrator and really impacted thousands of lives and just an upstanding, really super guy. So I think that you'll really enjoy the segment. Well, on the line at this point of the program, we have the community outreach segment sponsored by PS&L Marketing Group and the mortgage originators of RibWorks Credit Union. And calling in, we have retired Staff Sergeant, U.S. Air Force, Gene Sicko with Engineering Infinity. Gene, welcome.
Hey, Paul, how you doing?
I am doing well, thanks. Living the dream as always.
All right.
Absolutely. So I know in this segment we're going to be talking about something we've spoken about in the past, about a symposium that is coming up, and it's called Uniting the UAP Community. So take it away, my friend.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so it's tomorrow. It's live in person and online. So we are welcoming audience, anyone who wants to come and sit in to Pearl Street Station in Malden. And we're going to be in the back room there. Some of the speakers will be live. We have speakers coming from other parts of the world who will be presenting remotely, virtually, but that the stream will be all set up for everybody to enjoy. And it runs 10 a.m. to 8 p.m., so it's a full day. And there are just some incredible speakers coming to be part of this.
That is fabulous, fabulous. So I see on the list, we'll start off with Freddie Uldahl. He's kicking things off.
Yeah, so he's with the Danish Network for UAP Studies, and they're doing a lot of work. In the news recently, they've had Copenhagen, Denmark, has had UAP drones that it looks like, Oslo. So there's a lot of activity going on now in Europe, but it looks it looks less anomalous and more like Russia, but it still is unknown. So he'll probably be covering a lot of that. I'm speaking myself on the recent connections we've made with the old Soviet programs and the documentation trail and how that fits into the U.S. government. And from Harvard, we have Professor Avi Loeb, who's been making the news all over the place as he tracks this 3I Atlas object, this large anomaly that is just sort of getting to Mars, and we're hopefully going to get the first good look at what exactly this thing is. It's about the size of Manhattan Island, so there's a lot of interest there, and I mean it's science, it's current events, it's all things.
All things considered and combined. It really is. Now, I know you've been a frequent guest on Paul Ponders, and it's really great collaborating with you. And you've also been on the morning show with Rob Hakala, and it's really something how this has grown. And I know that you did in fact get a nice thrust with the Total Disclosure podcast. So if you want to talk about that.
Yeah, Ty Roberts, Total Disclosure podcast. He's based over in Waltham, coincidentally.
Oh.
And he is, he's a rising star in that community and in journalism covering, the subject. He's been to the past as a journalist to the UAP congressional hearings that they've had. So, very legit. He has amazing guests, in his studio as well. And it's he Jim Allrock who's the Massachusetts MUFON, Mutual UFO Investigation Network. He's a field investigator. There's Martin Walsh, who's up in New Hampshire, who has the longest running UFO-related podcast called Podcast UFO. So, the four of us have been really working together to try and get more attention and have more outreach, let's say, around the greater Boston area and through throughout New England. There's a lot of stories, a lot of things people see, and they kind of don't know where to go with them. And so, this symposium is kicking off what we're calling the Wicked Alien Project, that'll focus on Greater Boston, New England area. People that want to reach out, contribute their stories and experience, and get some answers and add to the information in the discourse, let's say, of the subject.
Absolutely. And if you're just tuning into Paul Ponders for the first time, but we are picking up a lot of listeners along the way as the show's popularity is growing. If you just want to take a minute or two, Gene, just to let everyone know about how this whole subject matter of engineering infinity came to be, please.
Yeah, sure. So it was 2019. My father-in-law had passed. He was living in Kazakhstan. And amongst his belongings and things that were discovered were about almost 119 pages, to be exact, of scientific documentation. And over the course of 4 years, we dove into it to really understand it. But it essentially turned out to be part of the official Russian program during the Soviet Union to reverse engineer a UFO. And so we've went through the process of translating, of bringing it out into the community and trying to get, the attention of the lawmakers and oversight committee folks who are looking into these issues and what did the government know and when did they know it. And, there's a 80-year history of people who have reported unusual phenomenon, who had been discredited, disgraced, lives ruined. And that was the government's position for a long time. And then it was really starting in the 80s and more so in the 21st century that we've come to learn that the discrediting that the government had always been doing was much different from the discussions they were having amongst themselves as legislators and officials and within the agencies. And that was primarily as a result of the Freedom of Information Act process. People started discovering there was a lot more to it. And little by little, there's been more acknowledgement. The government acknowledges now, yes, they're a thing they cannot identify. They do not know what they are. And so there's this community that's trying to help get those answers.
Interesting. So some people have in fact said, what's this all about? Trekkies, about searching for UFOs, et cetera, et cetera. And I keep on telling them it's about the science.
It is. I mean, again, what people haven't quite got their heads around is this idea that the government has acknowledged this. There are things that they don't know where it comes from, and it's not just exclusive to the U.S. government. There are governments all over the world, and that's sort of why the title is changed to anonymous phenomenon, because they wanted to lose that UFO stigma and what people have in their minds, and so there are these ontological questions about, origins of humanity and all of that. But then there's real science. Do these things belong to another country and pose a threat? Do they not and pose a threat? It's the big question. The community still runs the gambit from the crazy to the scientific, and like the work we brought forward is obviously very much focused on the science. We see it. These documents were written in the 1980s. We see the technology my father-in-law wrote about then coming to fruition now and becoming part of advanced propulsion systems and the rest of it. So it's it's a point where we have to have some more honest conversations about transparency in government and our safety and security and what do we know and what do we need to know. And, there's still a lot of unanswered questions. So it's certainly not the Star Trek-y, fan fiction, cosplay kind of thing. It is really about chasing down the science and really understanding what's in our skies for the people, particularly who do experience things.
Fascinating. And I guess tomorrow at Pearl Street Station Restaurant, 53 Summer Street in Malden, more questions and answers will be thrown across the table and around the room. Is that correct?
Absolutely. So like I said, 10 a.m. to 8 p.m., people are welcome to pop in at any time, come and go. Just, again, be respectful if there's speakers there, as you do. There'll be some food to pick on. People, of course, can enjoy the wonderful meals and drinks and everything as well, from Pearl Street. And if anyone wants to watch it online, it'll be live streamed at wickedalien.com.
Fabulous. Well, retired Staff Sergeant, U.S. Air Force, Gene Sicko, I want to thank you for being on, and thank you again for your service.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you for, bringing me on and sharing this and helping to get the word out, and again, sort of normalizing this issue for a lot of people who do care about it. Absolutely.
As they say in Paul Ponder's world, #indeed. Gene Sicko, thank you so much. Good luck tomorrow.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Now let's hear from our sponsors before we go to our next guest who's on the line.
Have you tried Brianville Pizza Kitchen? From antipasto to baked ziti, specialty gourmet burgers, over 30 different kinds of pizza, and that's steak and cheese. Come on in and they'll show you why they made a reputation as being the best steak and cheese sub in the area. There's nobody that puts it together like your friends at the Briantville Pizza Kitchen. Chicken wings and fingers and the famous flavors complement their stir-fry dinners. If subs and wraps aren't enough for your table tonight, expand into Greek and Caesar salads, maybe even a calzone. Anyway, it's all good at the Briantville Pizza Kitchen. And don't forget, invite them to your next catered event. They'll bring the food. Briantville Pizza Kitchen. Call them at 781-293-9857. Have you heard about Pembroke Collision? Price and quality don't often collide under the same roof. Not so at Pembroke Collision at 192 Manakesett Street in Pembroke. Pembroke Collision will work with you and your insurance company to get you back on the road in a safe and satisfactory vehicle. Put your trust in Ben Bastianelli and his crew at Pembroke Collision. Just call 781-293-4040 or find them on Facebook. Pembroke Collision. Happy to work for you.
Five-time Hall of Fame inductee, President Dave Caiazzo from the National Italian-American Sports Hall of Fame Massachusetts chapter invites you to its Hall of Fame induction ceremony at 1 p.m. on Sunday, October 5th at Anthony's of Malden. Congrats to Zavarian Brothers High School head football coach Al Finaro, past San Diego Padres farmhand Joe DiSarcina, and special Tony the Champ DeMarco Spirit Award recipient Catholic Memorial AD football coach John DiBiazzo. Please contact Paul at paulponders.com or President Dave Caiazzo at davekaipitching@gmail.com for more ticket information. Are you looking for fencing and outdoor products? Look no further than Northeastern Fence and Supply Corporation of Saugus. When owner Mike Payne's customers have been asked why they chose Northeastern Fence, many said that there were three deciding factors: customer respect, excellent customer service, and quality products. I say that you need to add in 70-plus years of a family-run business with truly experienced sales and installation teams. So if you are in the market for fences for your kids, dogs, and ugly neighbors, please call Mike Payne and his crew at 781-233-3324 or email Mike at northeasternfence.com.
Paul Ponders continues on 95.9 WATD. Once again, Paul Solano.
Thank you. We are back. The call-in number here at WATD is 781-837-4900. And on the line, on the road, is dear friend Johnny Peasy, comedian, magician, and master of ceremonies. Johnny Peasy.
How are you?
I'm doing well, thanks. I'm living the dream. Thanks for calling in from the road. How'd the soccer game go?
No, it was my grandson's football game. Which it was playing Danvers. He plays for Masco, quarterback, and he scored the winning touchdown with less than 2 minutes to go.
That is fabulous.
Yeah, isn't that great? He's a good little player.
That's great.
I'm excited. I got to tell you something, Paul. I am so excited for the event tomorrow night with all these celebrity sports figures going to be there. Rico Petrocelli, and Davey Kai, and DiSasina, and Paul Ponders. I mean, he's one of the best around.
Oh, thank you. You're much too kind. You're much too kind. Thank you. Thank you, my friend. Yes, so you'll be the master of ceremonies tomorrow at Anthony's in Malden, and we really do have a great lineup, and I know you'll be kicking things off, and are you going to be doing some magic for our guests in attendance?
I'm probably going to do a couple of magical things to keep things going, yeah, and we'll keep it light, and I got a couple of special things planned for tomorrow, but we always have a good time. It's a great turnout. People love going. And, of course, Anthony's. Is there any place better to have an event like this than Anthony's in Malden?
It really is the place to go. And a shout-out to Albert Spadafora, Senior and Junior. Junior is starting to take a more active role in the business, but Albert and, of course, his dad, Anthony, was, in fact, police commissioner, and it's really a great place to go, and it's the place to be in the Malden area, and people just really come from all over. And shout-out to Megan Drummy, who does a great job as the special events coordinator and the manager of events over there. But on the dais tomorrow, you're going to have Joe DiSasina, who you mentioned, and you probably saw Joe play in the 70s and 80s when you were watching Dave Caiazzo, our president.
Right, exactly. Yeah. You know what's amazing? I got to tell you something. The way you and Dave put this together every year, it's just amazing. The dedication and the hard work that you guys do to put this all together. And it's just such a great event.
Thank you. It really is. And it's really a labor of love to really just pay homage to really athletes of Italian-American descent. And it is October. It's Italian National Heritage Month. And we tend to have this every other October. And Joe DiSasina is a great nominee, but here in this part of the world, if you will, I'm on the South Shore and you're on the road, but I'm in Marshfield. But the head football coach of Xaverian Al Fanaro, is just a delightful man and a great coach, and he's been in the Xaverian system. He went to school at Xaverian class in 1978, and he started coaching in 1980, and he's been there ever since, and he's really continued the great Hawks tradition. Exactly.
He's such a great athlete, and he's a great coach, and it's a great program. I mean, their program. How many players that played for Xavier went into the pros?
Oh, several, at least 5 or 6.
I know the Hasselback
right.
boys and
Greg Camella.
Yep. So they always have a great program, and we're very excited. This is just going to be such a fun time tomorrow, and I hope any listeners that have been on the cusp on whether they want to go, come on down. You won't regret it. It's a fun afternoon for everybody.
Absolutely, and also one more shout out for our other honoree. This is the first year we've actually decided to do this, but we're actually, and we were joking about this the other day on the walkthrough about our honorees. President Dave is going to march in with with Rico Petrocelli and Bobby Leo, right, and others who are going to be there, and then he's going to run back and then march in with the board. But we have Coach John DiBiazzo, who is going to march in as a past honoree from the class of 2005, and then he's going to go back and then be recognized as an honoree of the first annual Tony the Champ DeMarco Spirit and Achievement Award. And Coach DiBiazzo, Coach Dibbs, as we know him, he coached many years in the Everett system, both football and basketball. But he's being recognized for his work and really just representing what Tony the Champ DeMarco stood for. And I think that you may have had a few meetings with Tony the Champ DeMarco.
Yeah. I can still remember him coming up to Giggles when we had some of the shows at Giggles, and what a great guy! Oh my God, What a great guy.
He really was. He was the world. He was a welterweight champion of the world way back when. And I've seen some video footage of his fights with Carmen Basilio, and I guess it's really one of those great battles of all time. Great rivalries.
He made us all proud. Tony DeMarco made us all proud.
Yeah, he really was truly a champ. So that's great. Now, Johnny, I know you're probably on the South Shore performing at times. Do you have any gigs on the South Shore, Cape and the Islands coming up?
Well, tonight I'm heading out towards Rhode Island, but I do want to say next weekend at Giggles Comedy Club, we have a phenomenal show. We have Jackie Flynn coming in. Jackie has been in numerous movies, Peter Farley movies. He's been into Something About Mary, Me, Myself, and Irene, The Kingpin with Woody Harrelson. So he's going to be at Giggles. He's a funny guy. So if any of the listeners want to, and I tell you what, because they're on your podcast, if anybody wants to go, they could either get in touch with you or get in touch with me, JohnnyPeasy@hotmail.com, and I'll make sure you get half price. How's that sound?
That's awesome. It's a great offer. Thank you so much, my friend. That's so. Wow, that's really great, and really, I think Jackie will wow everyone. He's a funny guy. I've only seen him on YouTube. I've never had the pleasure of meeting him, but it should be a great show.
Should be a great show.
Absolutely.
But I'm looking forward to tomorrow. I'm going to get there early. We're going to go over everything, and hopefully everything runs seamless. But you know something, Paul? The one thing I do know about yourself is whatever you're involved in, always you're so organized and you're so thorough, and you always make sure that everything just runs so smoothly. Even the way you run Pearl Street, amazing. You're an amazing individual.
Well, that's so kind for you to say. Thank you so much, my friend. I really do appreciate that. And right back at you. And it's always been a pleasure to work with you on various comedy shows and nights and fundraisers. And you've done thousands upon thousands in your 30 years of being a comedian. You've performed
40 years.
40. Oh, no way. But you're only 45, 46, right?
Well, I started really young.
Absolutely.
Really young. I got to tell you something, Paul. Locally I'm pretty known on the North Shore. But I always said this: I may not become rich and humongously famous, but when I could help out, whether it's charities, we're doing a show in a week which is already sold out on the 12th. For the Children's Hospital at Anthony's, 500 people. I like to go into the Children's Hospital. I like to do magic for the kids because I was in the hospital as a child for 3 months. I know how it is to be in a hospital, So, we try to give back. And that's the thing, something. Even tomorrow, we try to give back. We try to do things that make people's lives better.
Absolutely. And the likes of way back when, if I remember correctly, Tommy Ma and Paul O'Donnell and all the benefits they used to have with Tony Brandano and for Children's Hospital. And really, it's just something that you really have continued and carried on the tradition of doing things for charity. And you have a great heart, my friend.
Well, thank you, Paul. I appreciate you saying that. And so looking forward to tomorrow. We'll have fun. And Dave Chiazzo, what can we say about him? There's a guy that went to the College World Series as a pitcher, took New Haven University in New Haven, Connecticut, to the College World Series, drafted by the Phillies. I mean, another superstar player that, from Malden. I mean, Malden's had some great athletes, haven't they, over the years?
They have.
Just great athletes.
Without a doubt. And Dave is right at the top of the list and all. And I think he's being inducted into his 5th Hall of Fame next week. I think the National Semi-Professional Baseball Hall of Fame. And that's up in New York.
Isn't that wonderful?
It's awesome.
That is great. What a great honor to be in that company,
Awesome.
So, But we're going to be all together tomorrow, Paul.
I look forward to it, Johnny Peasy. I thank you for calling in, and again, congratulations to your grandson for scoring that winning touchdown.
Thank you. All right, well, I'll see you tomorrow early, Paul. Thank you.
You got to travel safe. Thanks, Johnny Peasy.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye now. Thank you. Well, we'll start to wind down shortly. I see that Larry Nelson is in the studio, and it's nice to have Larry. Larry is going to be on in the spot of Ron Dwyer, who's not here today, but I always give that shout out to Ron Dwyer as the grand poobah of oldies rock and roll. Ron, you are a true leader of the pack with great musical memories of yesteryear. So thank you, Ron, and we'll turn this over to Larry very shortly. And Tim could also get to do his oil change. But listeners can go to paulponders.com to find subscription links to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube, as well as finding past Paul Ponders and WATD shows. Thanks again to Tim, Arthur, Sharon, Jean, Johnny, and our advertisers. But thank you, listeners at WATD World and beyond. Keep Paul pondering. #Indeed.